Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending on the time that you're viewing the live stream. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. If you come in while I'm still on the live, could you please tap the thumbs up or the like button for me, please? So, yeah, I just wanted to come in and say a few things. I posted a video last week. It was LaShawn. He had went live and he was speaking on Shamar's manager, and he was saying that allegedly the manager was scamming and taking advantage of Shamar. Now we know that this is not the first time that we've heard something like this happening with Shamar and management. People were alleging that Shamar's former manager before um, this one, Big K, people were alleging that she was doing the same thing. Now, people were saying that her management fee was 30%, and people were saying that that was like way too much for a fee, to be charging Shamar for management. Now, I get that Shamar can be a lot to deal with, but I just don't agree with people taking advantage of him because he doesn't really know the outs and ends of the business. But anyway, I basically said all that to say this. I started watching Shamar when he went viral on a live stream with Shekinah Joe, and his mom was on the live stream, and his brother was there as well. And that was like maybe, that's been like years ago. But and ever since then, I've seen people start to latch on to him. And y'all know that's when social media had started paying money. So I just started to see people just latch on to him. And I'm just going to say for clout because social media was paying and people were trying to get their sales out there and their names out there to start getting paid on these social media platforms. And I seen a lot of people come forward and say that they were Shamar's friend. Y'all, and I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm just saying that I haven't seen it myself. I've seen a lot of people come forward, and say they offered Shamar a place to stay, when he didn't have anywhere to go. I also seen Shamar be homeless, sleeping outside in parking garages in Atlanta. But out of all the things that I have seen, and again, I'm not saying that it has not happened, it could have happened behind the scenes, but people tend to want to show things that they do for Shamar and get on here and say, well, I let him come live with me, I fed him, I gave him this, I did that. But I have not yet seen one person say that they tried to convince Shamar to go to the doctor and check on his scoliosis, because from the beginning when I first started watching him, it looks like the scoliosis has gotten worse. So I never it ever really. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. Hello. Yes. Under the water train station, yes. Um he was also saying, that he was sleeping at one point. Well, he didn't say, but other people were saying that he was sleeping in a storage room that he had got when, he had to move out of the apartment that he was living in with his mom. Good morning. Good morning. Um, so again, I'm gonna go back to this. I have seen Shamar go live with quite a few people, hanging out with a lot of people, and they put so much out on social media, but I have not seen one person get on there and say, I tried to convince Shamar to go to the doctor, or I have not seen one person getting on here scheduling a doctor's appointment for him to try to, check on his scoliosis. Because like I said, from when I first started watching him until now, it has gotten worse, y'all. Like, Shamar is like, sometimes it's like he's struggling, to even walk. Like, he gives out a breath real quick. And it's crazy to me that people, want to fight him. Now, I know Shamar, we all know that Shamar has his little mouth and he'll say little stuff, but one wrong move could cause Shamar to be injured like really bad with the condition, of his bones and the scoliosis or whatever. And I'm like, all these people, like these managers, these so-called friends, why y'all put everything else out here, but why haven't we seen anyone get on here and try to schedule him a doctor's appointment, or try to, convince him to go to the doctor and check on his condition? And I'm like, y'all should be more concerned with his health than being seen and getting clout and getting views and likes on social media. But I guess that's what it's all about, again, clout or whatever. But I just wonder, like, has he ever, out of all these people that came forth and said that they were his friends, were there ever really any genuine people around him? Because it's crazy that all these people are latching on to him, or were latching on to him, and they get on here and they, talk about everything that they've done, and they spread all of his business, but nobody gets on here and say, well, I tried to convince Shamar to go to the doctor, or I scheduled Shamar a doctor's appointment. I have never seen any of the people around him get on here and show any type of concern about his health. Now on Mad Day, when they get mad at him, now I have heard people go on here and allege some things concerning his health, but I haven't seen anybody get on here and say that they have tried to get him, to go to the doctor to check on his scoliosis. He does. He definitely needs medical attention, like, because like I said, from my observation, from when I started watching him, when he went live and went viral with Shakana Joe and his mom, and I think it was his brother, his condition was not as bad as it is now. Because sometimes he would go live without his shirt and you could tell, and he's did it like recently, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my, it wasn't this bad at first. And I'm like, all of these people that claim to care, and they say that they're his friend, nobody tries to make sure that he is healthy, or they put everything else out here on the internet, but nobody you know seems to try to want to make sure that he is healthy, or gets doctor's appointments, or goes to check on his scoliosis. That's so sad to me, though. It really makes me wonder, has he, or does he really even have, or have had any genuine people in his circle that really, really care about his health and well being, and not just clout and followers and views and likes and the money that they can make on the social media app, because of the views that they'll get from having Shamar around them. I was just, when LaShawn went live, and, he was telling all of the stuff about the manager. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, all these people, they get out here, and they speak, they say they're speaking up for him, but I haven't seen any one of them get on and, like they call themselves, blasting each other, blast the fact that they tried to get him a doctor's appointment, or tried to take him to the doctor to check on his scoliosis, and his health. That's crazy to me. Y'all, I just wanted to pop on to speak on that for a few minutes this morning. Y'all, I'm going to jump off and get my day started. But thank you so much for joining the live, y'all. And until the next one, be blessed. Oh yes, Larry really did. Larry really loved Shamar, but yeah, that little situation with them, it was kind of toxic. But thank you for joining my live, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna get out and get my day started, and until the next one, bye.